Cool. So now that we're live, we'll give it a few minutes for a couple people to join us, and then we'll begin. But it records it, so anyone who joins late can watch from the beginning. Okay, for those who are joining or watching this later, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section. And if it's live, we'll try to answer it during the actual live stream. If it's after, if you're watching this later, still put your comments or questions in the live stream comments, and we will get back to those as soon as we can. Okay. So welcome to anyone watching this either live or later on. My name is Brian Palmer. I am Executive Director for Ethereal Just Arts Council. I'm also serving as both the producer and the mentor director for Community Theater Triple Feature Volume 2. I am joined today by Rob Lutz, who is one of our directors for the production. For those of you who are not familiar, our very first production we ever did back in spring of 2023 was Community Theater Triple Feature Volume 1. It was made up of 3 one-act plays. Volume 2 is very similar, done 3 one-act plays. We're continuing with our drama sandwich, which means that the first one act is a comedy, the second one is a drama, and the third is another comedy. And this time around, we're doing what I like to affectionately call our director training program. So each one act has been assigned to directors who are either new or who don't necessarily have a whole lot of experience, as a way to learn the process of directing a show with a safety net, with someone who has done it before and can help guide through the process, with the ultimate goal of being able to being ready and confident to take on a full stage production at the end. I personally am very, very excited that Rob is working with us on this production. I've been a fan of his for quite a while. We talked about this project a couple years ago, and so I'm just really excited that we're finally getting ready to do it, that we're getting ready to head into auditions and the rehearsal process. So why don't we start there? Rob, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your experience in theater, and why you decided now to try your hand at directing.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know me, my name is Rob Lights. I forgive Brian for mispronouncing my name. Everyone does. Even I screw up from time to time. I have been with I've been doing theater since I was 13, and that was many years ago. I don't want to count. When we did Oliver, back when Actors Theater actually did musicals. I was a little street urchin and one of Hagen's boys, and I got hit by a theater bug, and I've been doing stuff on and off since. I usually, Brian will tell you, I excel at the character parts. Allie Hackham, Laura Ambler, the innkeeper from Les Mis, whose name I can't pronounce right now, but you know who I'm talking about, you know, the one who sings Master of the House, etc., and so on. I chose a couple of years ago to actually dip into the other side of it. I felt there weren't enough. I just felt limited around this area with just being in front. And honestly, I wanted to direct. It's because I feel there's nothing more satisfying than working with a great director, and I want to do it. I love, like I said, I love the theater. I've been obsessed with musicals since I was a kid. I was born sick, so I grew up watching the classics, you know, Singing in the Rain, Hello Dolly, Guys and Dolls, West Side Story, all of those great ones, and theater, you know, it's my passion, and I figured why not. And when Brian actually said, "Oh yeah, I've got this little show I want you to look at," it was, you know, it's kind of like in the vein of This Show Goes Wrong, but it's really short. And he's like, I think you would like this, and I have read the script. And I absolutely love it. It's so fun. It's so fun. It's gonna be a great way to start off the whole shebang.
And we'll go a little more into the actual plot of the story here in a minute. I do want to mention the other two shows and their respective directors for Volume 2. We have it's called The Girl in the Mirror. It's a very intense show, and it will be directed by Amy Grosclose, who is actually our costume coordinator. She has a variety of directing experience in the past from multiple companies, and I'm very excited to be able to work with her on this particular show. It's a very heavy show. It's a very deep show, and we'll go into like I said, the plots here in a minute. And then our third and final director for Volume 2, her name is Evelyn Evergreen, and she will be directing, it's called A Twinkie a Day. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, and it was actually written by a friend of mine from high school. So I'm very excited to get to not only work with three really great people that I just thoroughly enjoy in this capacity, but to also be able to work on the writing of another human being that I'm a huge fan of. So, Rob, if you could, in your own words, if you could tell us what the story of Take 5 is, what happens, and who are the major characters?
Oh gosh. Unfortunately, I'll be honest, I only read through it once. But it's pretty much, you know, it's set on stage, and they think it is the final dress or tech night, and surprise, it's the actual opening night, and things go crazy from hell. Pretty much, it runs on the Peters principle of anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Very much.
Very, very, very smart too.
Yeah. It doesn't have you mentioned before that it's similar to The Play That Goes Wrong, in the fact that, like, everything that, like you said, anything that can go wrong does go wrong. It doesn't have as much of like the technical or set mistakes that Play That Goes Wrong does. If I remember correctly, I think there's a door that doesn't work properly, but for the most part, it's more about like one of the actors comes up missing, so the stage manager has to go on in their place, and they're at different points in the script, so the dialogue doesn't really make a lot of sense. But as you said, it is a really funny show. It's a very it's also got moments where there is just like a little touch of heart to it as well, because with the whole premise of a play going wrong, you still have the characters who are experiencing this from their perspective, a very horrible night, a very embarrassing night where their craft is not working the way it's supposed to, and in front of an audience of people. So you get a mixture of that really hilarious kind of slapstick comedy mixed with like the actual experiences of the characters themselves. It's a really
I liked it because I'm like, you know what? Honestly, I could see this shit happening.
yes,
I could see every single scenario happening. I've seen some of the scenarios play out too.
Yeah, it's almost like the playwright sat down with a bunch of actors and asked them, okay, so what are the worst things that's ever happened during a show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to be a really fun one to work on. It's a new one for me as well. I've never worked on it before, but when the season planning committee read it, we all just thought that it was so funny and so smart. And we're like, okay, so that one has to be a part of the mix. And then the second one act, which is like the meat of our drama sandwich, it's called The Girl in the Mirror. It is a show that I'm quite partial to. I did the one act version when I was a junior in high school, and then we did the full length my senior year. And with Girl in the Mirror, it is a very serious, very sensitive show. It deals around the topic of teen suicide, which again is something that back 20 some years ago when I was in high school was a serious issue that we were dealing with. And unfortunately, it's one that we're still dealing with today. And the basic plot is that the main character, Susan, we meet her at the beginning of the play, and she's in a coma from having downed the contents of a bottle of sleeping pills. And this character known as the speaker, we don't know who they are, what they are, how they ended up there, but they're visiting Susan in her coma and takes her back, almost kind of like Christmas Carol, takes her back in time so we can see the things that led up to that choice, and then takes her forward to see what possible outcomes her friends and family could go through if she were to choose to not survive. And then at the end, it's left ambiguous. We don't know what Susan decides one way or the other. And even though the subject matter is a very serious topic and it's very heavy material, the playwright addresses it with such a soft hand. There's nothing gratuitous that happens on stage. Her suicide attempt is handled off stage. They only talk about it. And it's a great short way to serve as a catalyst to have these kinds of conversations. One of the things that we're hoping to do is to be able to partner with some local organizations to be able to provide resources at the performances in case anybody feels the need to want to speak to someone after seeing the show. It's like I said, it's a great little play. It is very heavy subject matter. And when we were putting the season together, we really liked the idea of doing the full length, but felt like it might be too heavy to do a 90-minute show with. But the one act is still so great in the way that it handles the subject matter that we thought it would be really helpful to sandwich it between two really funny plays. So that way we can keep everyone's spirits light while also talking about something so serious. And then the third one act that we're doing this time, which will be directed by Evelyn Evergreen, it's a play called A Twinkie a Day. It was written by Wes Hilton. And it is, like I said, one of the funniest things I've ever seen or read. If you are a fan of the X-Files or Roswell or like any of those like 1990s sci-fi type shows, then you would love this one. The story revolves around two college professors who are scientists who accidentally start the zombie apocalypse, and then they have to fight the zombie horde while also trying to find a way to reverse the entire thing. And as the title suggests, Twinkies end up becoming a very central part of the story. So yeah, these are three relatively different shows, But altogether, I feel like it's going to set up for a really fun evening. The full total run time should only be about hour and a half, maybe a little longer, due to the intermissions. But like I said, it should be a really fun time. And I'm really excited to get to see what Rob and Amy and Evelyn can do with each of those scripts. So coming back to Take 5, what is your concept for the production? Like, what are you planning to do with the story, and what do you want audiences to walk away from seeing Take 5 thinking or feeling?
I mean, I like I said, I really don't know. I know that's terrible at the stage, but I from what I've seen and what I've read, I just want people to have a good laugh, and a good laugh in that oh, I can relate to that, or oh yeah, I've been there. It's fun. It's sort of almost I want to purchase this with a Monty Python sensibility, which you think, oh my gosh, it's like those guys are warped. I'm like, actually, no, they're not. If you look, some of their best sketches are the ones where they're grounded, and that's where the comedy comes in, because they play it like drama, and it works brilliantly. Trying to go with a sketch that could look to. Like the department store one where the guy has to stay in the box. They treat it for like, oh my gosh, you said that phrase, and they're so dramatic about it, but you're laughing at them and with them, and that's what I want. I want people to both laugh at this and laugh with this.
Yeah, and I think that definitely makes a lot of sense, because there is a philosophy when it comes to comedy that, especially in plays, that the characters who are experiencing the story or communicating the story to us, to them, it's reality. It's not a comedy. Nothing kind of breaks up a comedy more than when the actor knows they're in a comedy and the audience can tell, and then they just start doing things just because they want to make the audience laugh. Having the comedy grounded in reality, that this is a serious situation for the characters, that's what makes it even funnier, and it can also lead to creating some really interesting tension between the actors on stage, because it is so serious and so real to them, which then translates to being that much funnier for the audience. So I definitely agree with you when it comes to that approach for comedy. And I do agree that I think Monty Python, especially in the Flying Circus, that they have a real strong hand on knowing when and how far to push things that can leave the story still grounded for the characters, but yet hilarious for the audiences. And it's not easy. I would say a lot of people think that comedy is the easiest type of show to do, and it's the opposite. Excuse me, sorry. No, I personally think drama's the easiest, because it's pretty easy to make people cry, but it is very difficult to make someone laugh, and to have the timing to understand comedy in a way to be able to make people laugh, and not just laugh, but laugh consistently over a half hour, is a very difficult thing to do. And I'm very excited to see what you and your cast can do to help create that type of an experience for the actors or for the audience. So when it comes to auditions, so next Saturday we're holding our audition seminar, as we usually do, which is just a chance to come in and practice your auditions. Excuse me, and you'll get feedback on those. And that's for people who are wanting to audition for Volume 2, and even for those who may not want to audition for this show, but would like to get feedback on their auditions. It's open to everybody, no matter whether or not you're wanting to do this particular show or not. And this is a great way to get to play in each of the 3 shows and to get to meet with each of the directors and get some feedback. And then the following weekend is when the actual auditions are. And the auditions for this will be similar to any other show that you might have auditioned for with Ethereal Jest. They run Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then on Sunday from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we will break people up into groups so that way it's a lot easier for everyone to get seen and to have multiple chances to read if the groups are only like between 5 to 10 people, as opposed to having 40 people all in the room at once. It's a lot easier to get lost. And so there'll be small groups. Monologues are encouraged, not required. We will also have cold reads where we'll take selections from the script and have you get up and read with other auditionees and give a chance for you to ask questions of us, and we can get to know you a little bit. If needed, we will have callbacks on Monday night. Traditionally, we've not needed to do callbacks, but just in case, we do have that on the schedule. Outside of that, we will inform everyone of the casting decisions, whether that's a yes or a no, by Thursday morning. And then we will announce the final casts publicly on Friday at 8 a.m. And we announce that on all social media as well as on our website. And I believe we also send an email out announcing the cast as well. So when it comes to rehearsals, the 4 of us are still working on building the official rehearsal schedule. But the plan is to treat it like a 3-act play. So we'll start off with blocking rehearsals, do that a couple nights as needed, and then switch into what I like to call scene work, which is where we're actually getting into like the delivery of the lines, the motivation behind the lines. But each one act will only be called one night at a time. So if you're in take 5, let's say that would be Monday night, and then Girl in the Mirror would be Tuesday, and then Twinkie Today would be Wednesday. Now, like I said, we haven't formalized which show on which nights yet, but each one act will get the same number of rehearsals by the end. And then once we get through all the scene work, then we'll move into running each act, and then we'll move into running the entire show. So by, I think it's like the last 2 weeks before Tech Week, at that point, everyone would be called every night. Prior to that, you'll only be called the nights for that the one act that you're in is called. And we'll communicate all of that as we get closer to auditions. All of our rehearsals are at our studio, which if you've not been there, it's part of Millworks Art Studios over on Leonard Avenue near the airport. Yeah. I just breezed through a whole lot of information really fast. So is there anything else related to Take 5 or Volume 2 as a whole that you would like to talk about or that I forgot to mention?
Not really. The other thing I might add is those who are thinking about auditioning, what I'm looking for are people who are really good at, like I said, comedy, particularly those who are good at satire. I think this is where it kind of falls.
Yeah.
Because I want people who can wink with the audience, not at the audience. Because they're 2 different brains.
Yeah, that's actually a really great way to phrase it. I like that.
Yeah.
And I also want to point out to everyone that on your audition application, you will be able to indicate which of the one acts that you're interested in, as well as which characters you're interested in. And you are eligible to be in more than one act. Because we won't have more than one act rehearsing at a time. So if you wanted to be in all 3, there's a possibility you can be. You'll just need to communicate to us that you are interested in that. Fantastic. Well, with that, I'm super excited to have gotten a moment to chat with you, Rob. As always, thoroughly enjoyed it. So excited to finally get started with this project and to finally get to work with you on a show. As I said at the beginning, if you have, at any point in time when you're watching this, if you have questions on anything, you can either throw it down into the comment section of this video. You can also visit the link on the screen. That is the dedicated page on our website for this production. And up until auditions, that's where you can find all audition information. Outside of that, you can also send an email to info@etherealjust.com, and we will get back with you as soon as we can. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching us. Rob, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everyone has a great Saturday and a great week, or whatever day you're watching this. Hope it's a good one for you. I will see all of you guys soon. Talk to you later.